You ever wish your apps could be smarter? I mean, really smart, like they could see, hear, speak, and actually understand the world around them? Well, today we're going to dive into how you can make that happen, and it's all thanks to the power of the cloud.
So, yeah, how do you add that little bit of magic? The kind of magic that lets your app translate languages in real time, or figure out if a customer review is happy or angry, or get this, even describe a photo out loud. Now, your first thought might be, okay, I need a team of machine learning experts, right? PhDs, the whole 9 yards. But, and this is the cool part, you don't. That's where the story gets really, really good. Nope. The answer isn't about hiring a huge team. It's about knowing where to look. And that place, as you might have guessed, is the cloud. Specifically, we're talking about the Microsoft Azure ecosystem. This is kind of like the digital workshop where all that magic gets made. Okay, so it's important to get this. AI in Azure isn't just some separate thing you buy off a shelf. It's actually a whole layer of intelligence that's built right on top of everything else Azure does. You've got your foundation, the virtual machines, the storage, all that core infrastructure. Then you have your data layer with SQL and Cosmos DB. Well, the AI layer sits on top of all of that and it works with your apps. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like the brain of the whole platform. It takes all that basic stuff, the data, the servers, and makes it smart. And this right here is the absolute key takeaway. The whole point of Azure AI is to what they call democratize it. That's a fancy word for a simple, awesome idea. Take this world-class, super advanced AI and just hand it over to developers. All of us, making it accessible so we can actually use it. So you might be wondering, okay, how do they actually do that? How do they make it so accessible? Well, they do it with something I love to call a digital toolbox. Just picture it. A toolbox, but instead of hammers and wrenches, it's packed with these super powerful, specialized AI tools. And the best part, they're all pre-built and ready to go right out of the box.
All right, so the official name for these tools is Azure AI Services. Let's just quickly break down what that really means for you. Pre-trained. That just means Microsoft has already done all the heavy lifting, all the super complex work of teaching these AI models. Customizable? Yeah, you can still fine-tune them for whatever you're building. But here's the absolute game changer. They're just APIs. That means you can tap into all this insane power with a simple API call. Just a few lines of code. It's incredible. And believe me, this toolbox is stuffed. You've got services for pretty much anything you can think of. You've got language, vision, speech, and even this category called decision and search. And that one's really cool. It's for things like spotting weird patterns in your data or automatically moderating content, basically helping your app make smart judgments all on its own. So, you ready? Let's crack open this toolbox and check out a few of these tools. All right, first up, language. I mean, it's one of the most basic things, right? Understanding what people write. So let's look at the services that give your app the power to read, understand, and process human language. And just to give you a sense of the scale we're dealing with here, let's just grab one tool out of the box, the Azure Translator. And look, this is not your run-of-the-mill translator. We are talking about support for over 100 languages. Think about that. You can translate text, whole documents, everything. With a tool like this, your app can go global, like tomorrow. And the use cases here are just huge. You could build a tool that scans customer feedback and tells you the sentiment. Are people happy or not? You could have it comb through thousands of legal documents and pull out all of the key names and dates. This is the stuff that powers everything from simple translation all the way up to really smart, really capable chatbots. Okay, so understanding text is one thing, but what about seeing and hearing? Let's move on to the next set of tools in our toolbox, the ones that give our apps eyes and ears. So take a look at this. This is how the AI sees. It's not just a bunch of pixels to the computer vision service. It actually analyzes the image and comes up with useful tags like land, ocean, close-up. Now, why is that a game changer? Because it means you can take a giant, messy folder of thousands of photos and, just like that, make it completely searchable. That's huge. And it's the same idea for hearing. Just like vision gives our apps eyes, the Azure Speech Service gives them ears. The core of it is super simple but incredibly powerful. It takes audio, doesn't matter if it's from a live microphone or a file, and turns it into text. Readable and, again, searchable text. And this is where it all comes together. This is the real magic of the whole ecosystem. The services don't just work alone, you chain them together. Look at this flow. First, a user says something. The speech service listens and turns it into text. Then you hand that text over to the language service, which figures out the user's intent. What did they actually mean? And then boom, your app does the thing. It's this beautiful, seamless chain from a spoken word all the way to a meaningful action.
Okay, so this pre-built toolbox is amazing, right? It's fantastic for all the common stuff. But what if your problem isn't common? What if you're working on something totally unique, something that needs a custom-built tool from the ground up? Well, this is the other crucial piece of the puzzle. Azure basically gives you two paths to take. Path one is what we've been talking about, Azure AI Services. That's your toolbox. It's fast, it's API-driven, it's for all those general-purpose AI features. But path two is for those really unique problems. That's Azure Machine Learning. Think of this less as a toolbox and more as a full-blown workshop for data scientists to build their own custom models completely from scratch. Now, we're not going to go super deep into this today, but just look at what's involved. This is a serious professional setup. You've got collaborative workspaces, massive computing power for training models, tools to manage all your data, the whole shebang. It really is that industrial strength workshop you need when a pre-built tool just won't cut it.
So there you have it. We've seen the toolbox, packed with ready-to-use AI services, and we've seen the workshop, where you can forge your own custom solutions. Which really brings us to the most important question of all. I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. The power of AI is no longer just for data scientists. It's a toolbox for every developer to solve human problems. That's it, right there. This amazing technology isn't locked up in some university lab anymore. It's right here in a toolbox, ready for any of us to pick it up and start building things that actually help people.
Look, the tech is here. It's more accessible than it has ever been in history. The tools are ready and waiting for you. So the only question left to ask is, what are you going to build first?